people of Reddit, what is your weirdest paranormal experience? In 1998 I was walking home from a late night library study session and there were 4 very large, shiny, deep gold things in the sky. They were twirling downward like those seed pod things on trees that sort of helicopter themselves, except these were bigger than cars and were doing it very slowly. I had stopped and was staring up at them before I even realized it. Then I noticed that about 20 people were standing on the other side of the road. They had come out of a bar. There was only the bar, several houses, and a bridge, but that was basically it. These days I would never let my daughter walk home like that, but whatever. I thought it was safe. I hollered something along the lines of, "What is that?" and one of the people said she thought it was spaceships, but I knew that wasn't right. And I went home and told people who thought I was probably crazy. A few years later, when I was older and understood the internet more, I looked for any kind of news story or anything, and nothing was available. I wish for the life of me I had talked more to the people watching the same thing outside the bar, which Google tells me is now gone, but I was more afraid of them than whatever was in the sky. It was bizarre. In the intervening 20 plus years I haven't gone crazy or ever seen anything like it again. LOL. I used to work events at a historic home. It was well known that the place was thought to be haunted and everyone had their own stories. I never believed any of it until one night I was the last one in the house because I was locking up after a particularly late wedding, probably around 1 AM. I went up to the top floor and the second I crossed the threshold I felt the air change. It got almost dense and knocked the breath out of me. I booked it out as fast as I possibly could. Another co-worker said one night when she went up to do the same thing around the same time she clearly heard footsteps and assumed it was another co-worker coming up to join her. But when she turned around no one was there and the other co-worker had actually been far across the property at the time. Another person said they were walking down the corridor when the door they were about to go through slammed shut in front of them and locked. The facilities guy was absolutely positive the original owners of the home, from the 1800s, were doing the haunting, so he started playing classical music at night if he had to be there late to appease them, and claimed they started leaving him alone after that. Nothing too crazy ever happened to anyone, but man did it make you not want to be the last person in there at night. I was driving by myself once and felt this extraordinary feeling of butterflies in my stomach, of agitation. I was coming back from a disastrous visit with this girl I was in love with but who did not love me back, so I was brooding and fixating on my own shit. But when that feeling hit in my gut, I knew someone had died. I said to myself out loud in the car, "Someone died. Someone's dead." About 20 minutes later I get a call from one of my beat friends saying this guy she was dating was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. I didn't feel the guy die. In fact, I had never met him, but I somehow felt my friend's distress through time and space. How? I don't distrust that it was real, but I still don't quite know how that feeling was transmitted to me. Maybe you are right about waves, electromagnetic impulses or chemicals, or I don't know, but I know I felt something different than I had ever felt and that I ended up being inexplicably right about it. Yes, this happens to me and happened to my mother a lot. I will start thinking about someone, or I should say, someone pops into my mind and I know somehow they're going to reach out to me, and they do. More than that, I grew up in a funeral home which was a 3-story Victorian house. We lived in the top 2 stories and the main floor was the business. That house was alive. Our dogs would do weird things like stare and growl into corners, usually around the holidays. We thought it was our grandpa coming for an otherworldly visit, but who knows. My mom swears up and down that the foot of her bed would depress as if someone sat down on it, but no one was there. She would feel a presence, would even talk to it, and eventually she would say, "Alright, I'm going to go to bed now. Please leave," and the depression would disappear like someone stood up to leave. My brother said he saw footprints appear in the dirt floor of the basement once, and he always teased me and scoffed at my fear of weird ghostiness. So when he admitted it all spooked, we all freaked a little. One night we were all awakened by blaring music. My dad had a pair of these huge 5-foot Klipsch corner speakers, and in the middle of the night, we all ran out of our rooms confused. Somehow, the stereo turned on and blasted on max volume. My dad is an audiophile and would never have abused his equipment for fear of blowing the speakers, nor was anyone awake to turn on the stereo and turn it up. Every light was on in the house despite having turned them out before going to bed. Also, the thermostat would randomly get turned up to the 90s, and you know how dads are with the thermostat. He always blamed my brother and me, but we didn't do it. I think our ghosts were practical jokers. There may have been at least one kid, and I say that because the house funeral home was turned into an apartment building when my parents sold it. I knew a girl who lived there. She would babysit sometimes, and the kid she babysat was always playing with someone whom nobody else could see. Also, she heard a disembodied kid voice once, clear as a ringing bell. It announced, "It's raining." At that time there were no kids anywhere in the building. What was weird is that there was this really old child's coffin in the basement. Not sure why they kept it. Probably because it was a novelty. It was made of dark wood, but the front panel was a solid pane of glass so you could view the body but seal the child inside. I realize this all sounds like made up bullshit, but I kid you not. This was my childhood. Now I drink and smoke enough that spirits can't reach me. My little sister is kind of weird. She's always had medium characteristics, and weird ghost stuff has always kinda happened to around her. My mom, sister, who is 5 years younger than me, and me lived in this creepy older duplex that was a church before it was converted. Go figure. My sister started talking to this imaginary friend a lot and started to talk about her friend more and more. I was around 15-16 and started to go through my hoodlum phase. I had just started smoking weed regularly, so I didn't really pay much mind to my sister. My mom was always at work because she was a single mom, so it was always just my sister and I at the house. Well, for a couple of days my sister started acting really weird, as if she wasn't herself in a way. She started sharing stories about her and her imaginary friend, and then she told us that her imaginary friend, whose name was Rosie — I honestly hate even saying or thinking about the name because of the freaky shit I had to go through because of her — it wanted her to get into this bottom drawer in our kitchen. Which was weird because I had previously broke that drawer. I broke the tracks that you slide it in and out on. So to fix it I just screwed the face of the drawer in on each corner without the other parts, tracts, or the bucket part that holds things. LOL, I am not sure what it's called. I explained this to my sister, but she didn't want to hear it. She needed to get into the drawer. I just ignored it until one day when we were alone I came out of my room and she was just sitting on the ground in front of the drawer, staring at it. It freaked me out cause she just seemed blank when I talked to her. I legit started thinking she might go crazy and kill me or something. But to attempt to stop her from being weird, I obliged and went and got the drill and opened up the drawer. To my surprise there was stuff in it, which freaked me out because, like I said, I was the one who broke it, and I was the one who closed it. There was nothing in the hole when I shut it. When I took out the stuff to look at it, it was 2 birthday cards. One to Rosie, my sister's imaginary friend, and one to Rosie's little brother. They were both dated like 30 years before. I was terrified and called and told my mom. My sister was completely normal after that. I am not really sure why Rosie wanted us to find them, but we did and she was content, I guess. My sister explained to me later on that Rosie told her that both Rosie and her little brother had died in that house, or possibly when it was a church. There is a lot more to all of this, but I wanted to share the beginning of it all first to see if anyone is even interested. I will share more if anyone wants to hear more. My memory of all of this is a little splotchy, so bear with me. Also, I apologize for the horrible formatting and grammar. I am at work and I wanted to make this quick, but it has taken me a little longer to type all of this up than I anticipated. Not sure if it's paranormal, but freaked us out. As an EMT firefighter we see some shit peeps. We had a lady code on us in the back of the ambulance leading up to that event. She was talking about how she was ready and this felt right to her cause she was painless. She coded, we got her back fairly quick. Oddest shit ever. She came talking saying thank you boys but you don't have to. She was dead like 30 seconds ago. She coded again and we had to keep working her to the hospital. They took over. Done. Go back to our station. The nurses like to call and let us know the outcome of some of the serious patients. So they called to let us know that this lady wanted to thank us. Cool, she lived. Nope, she did not. She coded like 3 more times that night, stuck in like lapsed memory or something, where she just wanted to thank everyone. We'd go home, come back the next tour, family came by to say thank you for everything we did. This woman had written thank you cards the night before thanking family and Dems. She wrote a thank you card knowing she was gonna die soon, and even a heartwarming letter thanking us. It was bizarre reading this and thinking what just happened.